ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्यनामिने गौरतुसे नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा। So we welcome everyone for today's discussion on Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So yesterday we discussed from Bhagavad Gita first chapter and verse number 28. Arjun Uvacha Drishtve imam swajanam Krishna yuyutsum samupasthitam sidanti mama gatrani mukham cha parishusyati. So Arjuna said, My dear Krishna, seeing my friends and relatives present before me in such a fighting spirit, I feel the limbs of my body quivering and my mouth drying up. So, on the request of Arjuna, Lord Krishna put the chariot in front of Bhishma and Drona specifically, in between the two armies. So, immediately after observing the armies, Arjuna could see all those relatives with whom he had so much affection, so much uh, uh, means affectionate dealings. So now they are standing in front of him with a desire to fight, all in a fighting spirit. Earlier they were in loving spirit. Now the scene has changed. Now all those relatives and friends, they are in fighting spirit. So naturally, it's very natural that any person, if he sees somebody who acted like friends and who had a loving spirit, uh, dealings were affectionate dealings were there throughout the life, but now suddenly they have changed their spirit. Now they are in fighting spirit. That's why Arjuna says, "Drishtva imam swajanam." This my swajanam, these my relatives. Yuyutsum samupasthitam. Now they are upasthit. Upasthit means now they are present before me, not in a loving spirit. Although they are my swajan, they are my own relatives, but now they are standing in front of me in yuyutsum. Yuyutsum means in a fighting spirit. So naturally, he had to face so much depression, distress. Sidanti mama gatrani. Because of this, all my limbs of my body are quivering and my mouth is uh, drying up. So that is the condition. This is what happens in this material world. The same person who acted like a friend, a relative, a very loving person, the same person may become enemy also. So that creates a distress and depression. So this is the mistake of identifying oneself with this body. If we think of anybody in this world as our relative, as our swajan, instead of the Supreme Lord Krishna, then naturally we are going to face lamentation over the period of time. Because only Krishna is our real swajan, and only Krishna, he suhirdam sarvadehinam. Shvedam Sarvadehinam means Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that I am the actual well-wishing friend of each and every living entity. So except Supreme Lord Krishna, nobody else is our true well-wisher. The same well-wishing friend may get changed over the period of time. Hmm. Like in Arjuna's case, same Bhishma and Dronacharya. Bhishma, who was so affectionate towards Pandavas, Bhishma always protected Pandavas, Arjuna and Yudhishthira Maharaj, all the Pandavas, so much affection. But still now the same Bhishma is standing in front of Arjuna in a fighting spirit with the desire to kill Pandavas. That is the condition. So this is the nature of this material world. So although Bhishma intentionally they do not want to kill Pandavas, but the situation is arising in such a manner that he is forced to act against the Pandavas. Similarly, in this material world is designed in such a manner that even if we have good intention, or even if some of our relatives and Swajan have very good intention for us, they are our well-wisher, they may have always good intention, but still, because of the situation, because of this material world, it will definitely happen that they will act as our, not as a well-wisher, but as our enemy. uh, Even if so, intentions are not just important thing is that we should know who is our actual well-wisher. So actual well-wisher is only Krishna. So this is also one of the lesson we learn from the great example of Bhagavad Gita, Mahabharata. Hmm. So Arjuna, who had so much affection and who was affectionate to Bhishma, Drona and all others, but still nobody could help him, and ultimately everyone turned away from him. So that's why only Krishna remains the actual well-wishing friend of each and every living entity, and he will be the only personality who will give complete shelter to Arjuna later on. And because of Krishna only, Arjuna will become fully determined to execute his duty, and fully he will become happy, jubilant, and blissful. So this is one lesson. So we discussed already about this verse yesterday. So Arjuna is experiencing this uh, lamentation or compassion for his relatives and friends. So this is because of his being a great devotee of Krishna. So any great devotee of Krishna, naturally he has this quality of being affectionate towards other living being. He cannot tolerate the suffering situation of others. Uh, But sometimes it is this natural quality of being compassionate towards all living entities. It is reflected through illusory platform, Dehatma Buddhi. So Arjuna's becoming compassionate towards his relatives. It is because of his soft-heartedness. Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, this is because of his soft-heartedness. So any devotee of Supreme Lord Krishna, he has this natural quality of being soft-heartedness, and because of this quality, he is always willing to act for the welfare of other living entities. And so that's why Arjuna is experiencing these symptoms. On the other hand, those Duryodhana and others, they are not experiencing these symptoms. They are fully prepared to fight. They are fully prepared to kill. But Arjuna is experiencing this because he is a pure devotee of the Supreme Lord Krishna. But now, because of being influenced by bodily consciousness, Dehatma, this good quality of soft-heartedness is applied in a wrong manner. So Krishna will correct that mentality, that consciousness, he will correct it, and he will encourage Arjuna to apply it in a proper way, in a spiritual manner. That will become spiritual compassion. So now Arjuna, in this verse 28, Arjuna explained the bodily symptoms. He's explaining what bodily symptom he's experiencing after seeing his own relatives, friends and relatives who have come in front of him in a fighting spirit. So he's telling, Siddhanti mama gatrani, my each and every limbs of my body are quivering. Mukham cha parishusyati. And And also, my mouth is drying up. Now, in next verse, he says, Vepathuscha sarire me romahrsascha jayate Gandivam shamshate hastat takshaiva paridahyate. My whole body is trembling, my hair is standing on end, my bow Gandiva is slipping from my hand, and my skin is burning. Vepathus cha sarire me. Vepathus means trembling of the body. Sarire, on the body, the body is trembling. Romharsas jayate. Romharsas, hair on the body are standing erect. Jayate. Gandivam shamsate hastat. My bow Gandiva is slipping from my hand. That means not only his whole body is trembling, and Romharsas means his hairs are standing on the end, but also there is perspiration all over the body. That's why even within his palm there is perspiration, and that's why Gandivam Samshate, the bow Gandiva is slipping from his hand. So this is the result of becoming overwhelmed in bodily consciousness. And Taksha eva paridahyate, and also the skin is burning. So these are bodily symptoms he's experiencing out of great mental anxiety, great mental fear. So in this way, we can understand the condition of our mind affects the body also. Symptoms are manifested on the body based on the conditions or emotions of mind. Similarly, these are negative symptoms experienced by a person who is afflicted with uh, anxiety, material anxiety, fear, because of bodily consciousness, dehatma buddhi. And similarly, in a positive manner, these symptoms are also experienced by a person who is highly elevated in spiritual consciousness, in pure love of the Supreme Lord. So when within somebody's mind there is experience of spiritual emotions, spiritual love for the Supreme Lord, at that time also the body exhibits these kinds of symptoms. But there is difference. So when one experiences any kind of emotion, material emotions, so the symptoms are manifested. Just like when somebody becomes very happy, jubilant, at that time also he starts crying. And when somebody is very much hurt, his one's heart is hurt, emotionally he is hurt, at that time also tears flow from the eyes. So these are because of material emotions. And similarly, when there are spiritual emotions, at that time also sometimes a devotee experiences these symptoms. But here in Arjuna's example, Arjuna is not experiencing spiritual emotions, but Arjuna is experiencing material emotions. And because of material emotions, and what is that material emotions? Fearfulness. Fearfulness, the anxiety for the loss of life of his friends and relatives. These material emotions are causing Arjuna to exhibit these symptoms. So this is the result of extreme level of anxiety. So Arjuna is the case of the extreme level of anxiety. Mm. Sometimes we also become anxious. We also have anxiety, depression, distress. But I don't know if any one of you have ever experienced so much anxiety that you exhibit such symptoms like Arjuna is exhibiting here, perspiration all over the body, and रोमहर्षश्च jayate, hairs standing on end, vepathuscha sarire mein, the body is trembling. Sometimes it may happen. I have seen in my school days when a teacher he was just chastising a student because of not completing some homework or assignment. So the student he was carrying the notebook on his hand, and he was trembling like anything. So that is because of extreme anxiety and fear. So sometimes it happens because of extreme fear and anxiety. Sometimes somebody may tremble, and somebody may start crying also, and somebody there is perspiration all over the body. So Arjuna is experiencing the same kind of symptom because of extreme anxiety. So there are two kinds of trembling of the body. Srila Prabhupada is writing the same thing in the purport, which we discussed, and the two kinds of standing on the hair on end. So these symptoms, bodily symptoms, trembling of the body and hairs standing on the end, rom harshasya jayate. This can happen because of two reasons. One is such phenomena occur either in great spiritual ecstasy. Sometimes when there is great spiritual ecstasy means there is great bliss or happiness. At that time also these symptoms get manifested in the body, or out of great fear under material conditions. And the second is out of great fear under material condition these symptoms get manifested. So first one is desirable. First one gives a great spiritual bliss, and on the other hand, the second one is undesirable because it causes suffering. It causes anxiety. Uh, so there is no fear in transcendental realization. So Arjuna's symptoms in this situation are out of material fear, namely loss of life. So this is the reason why Arjuna is experiencing such great means such trembling of body, uh, the symptoms of body. So that is because of material fear. And what is that material fear? Loss of life of his friends and relatives. So this is evident from other symptoms also. He became so impatient that his famous bow Gandiva was slipping from his hands. And because his heart was burning within him, he was feeling a burning sensation of the skin also. All these are due to material conception of life. This is known as Dehatma Buddhi. So all these symptoms Arjuna is experiencing because of material conception of life, because he is considering himself to be body and others who are related with the body as his own swajan, as his own relatives, friends. That's why he's experiencing these things. So there is so much impatience or so much anxiety that his famous Gandiva bow is slipping from his hand. It is very unnatural for Arjuna because Arjuna was such a great Dhanurdhar, such a great warrior that he had once vowed that if anyone tells me if I have lifted my Gandiva bow for fighting, so if anyone, even if somebody says me that you give up your bow, Gandiva, then I will immediately kill that person. I will chop off his head. That was the vow of Arjuna. And it happened also once. Yudhishthira Maharaj, he said that you do not deserve to keep this bow, Gandiva vow. Give it up. Arjuna became very angry and he had taken vow to kill that person. So immediately he took the sharp sword to chop off the head of Yudhishthira Maharaj. But of course, Krishna was present, so did. Krishna had all the intelligence by which he can fulfill the desire of both the party. So Krishna gave the intelligence to Arjuna by which he could keep up his promise, as well as Yudhishthira Maharaj was also killed in a different manner, but he was not killed also. Anyway, but the same Arjuna who had taken this vow, now in the battlefield, he had already lifted his bow and he was prepared to shoot arrows. But now, as soon as he saw in front of him all those friends and relatives, immediately, automatically, nobody told him, the bow slipped from his hand. So this is the condition. If we get influenced by material conception of life, then we cannot be determined to act. We cannot be determined to follow our own promises or vows. Determination, we will lack determination, and great determination is required in order to succeed in life, whether material success or spiritual success. Material success is also not so easy thing in this world. If somebody wants to get material success, then also he requires great determination. And what to speak of spiritual success? Without determination, dृढ़ निश्चय, one cannot actually become successful in spiritual life. And this determination is lost. That's why this is our duty, or this is the most important factor, that we preserve our determination. Determination is a wealth of a spiritualist or even materialist also. Uh, any person, any candidate who has some material ambition or spiritual ambition, determination is the only wealth by which he can actually purchase his ambitions. The success, material success or spiritual success. So determination should be very nicely protected. It should be increased. And how determination is lost? Determination is lost by sense gratification. Uh, This sense gratification is directly, inversely proportional to the determination we will have for acting, either materially or spiritually. So this determination is lost as soon as we are affected by material conception of life. This material conception of life forces one to enjoy sense gratification, and because of enjoying sense gratification, one loses his determination to achieve something in life, even materially also. That's why if you see any successful person, whether material or spiritual, uh, so materially successful person also, where they became successful because of restricting their sense gratificatory activity, because sense gratification and success in life cannot go well together. It is always opposite, ill together. uh, that's why earlier this was the system, that the students were sent to Gurukul and they were trained in Brahmacharya. The Brahmachari training was given very rigidly, strictly. Why? Because until unless one remains a perfect Brahmachari, he cannot have the determination to learn things nicely. He cannot have the determination to achieve success in life, whether material or spiritual also. And that's why this system has been followed even today also, but it has got degraded. That's why students who are sent for colleges, universities, they are given Bachelor of Technology, Bachelor of Commerce, Bachelor of Engineering, all this bachelor degree. So only a student who is very nicely uh, situated in tapasya, austerity, no sense gratification, who can control the urges of senses, he can only become fully determined to achieve success in life, material success also, even material success. Then what to speak of spiritual success? If somebody wants to progress in spiritual life, there is no question of any kind of advancement or progress if one indulges too much in sense gratification, because sense gratification forces one to remain in material conception of life. As soon as one is very eager for enjoying senses, immediately his consciousness goes down and he comes to the level of material conception of life, identifying with the body. His entire conception, mentality, mind, consciousness, and intelligence is focused for sense gratification. Then how he will be able to become determined to act for achieving success? That's not possible. And that's what we see in colleges nowadays. Both boys and girls, as soon as they come together, if they make friendship, immediately their consciousness is shifted from their goal of life to something else. And then whole day, whole throughout the year and throughout their college life, they are just simply means influenced by this material conception of life, and then they lose the determination for achieving success in life, in material life. And that is also very much applicable for advancing in spiritual life, that nobody can advance in spiritual life until unless he restricts this enjoying sense gratification activity. That's why Srila Prabhupada gave us these four regulatory principles, most important. No meat eating at all. No meat eating, no gambling, no intoxication, and no illicit sex. These four things, if one breaks, he actually breaks the pillar of determination, uh, which is very much required or helpful for advancing in spiritual life. One immediately loses all determination, one becomes unenthusiastic, demotivated, depressed, full of anxiety, full of fear. All these negative emotions are generated in the heart of a person who breaks the four regulatory principles. As soon as one breaks the four regulatory principles, that means sinful, as soon as one performs sinful activity, he will become filled, his heart will become filled with anxiety, fear, and he will become demotivated. He will lose enthusiasm and determination. So, how he can act on the path of Krishna consciousness? That's not possible. That's why anyone who is desirous of achieving success in spiritual life, he must try to control his mind and senses. And it may be difficult in the beginning, but if somebody is determined that, and if somebody has understood that no, this sense gratification is very harmful for me, it will destroy my determination to achieve spiritual success. So, how can somebody get involved in the activities of sense gratification just for the sake of few minutes of temporary enjoyment? If one sacrifices his determination, which is a great wealth for advancing in the spiritual life, then such a person is the most foolish person. Uh, Just like what does this intoxication gives? Nothing. Just 2 minutes of little sense gratification. What does this eating of fish, egg, meat gives? Just the sense gratification for few minutes. And what does this sense gratification of illicit sex gives? Just a little temporary sense gratification for few seconds, few minutes. And if a foolish person, not knowing the value of preserving the determination by abstaining from the activities of sense gratification, if one becomes such a foolish person and engages in these nonsense activities, sinful activities, then definitely he is on the path of ruining his own spiritual life. And in this way, he just wastes his spiritual life, human form of life, and there is no hope for him. He cannot revive it, even if he accepts. There are many people, many youths especially. There are many youths who accept Krishna, who accept Krishna consciousness, who accepts teachings of Bhagavad Gita, and who even started chanting 16 rounds. Everything normal, nicely they were doing, but because of bad association, when they start indulging in these activities of sense gratification, they start breaking the principles. Intoxication, illicit sex, especially these two principles are most important, which is very difficult, especially for the youth of today's. Um, uh, as far as I have seen, youth in cities, they easily get attracted for intoxication and illicit sex. These two things they are unable to give up, and because of these two things, they just fall down. They are unable to follow the path of spiritual life. Chanting of 16 rounds is very easy. It's very simple also and very easy. Anybody can do it, but because of being influenced by these two things, these two sinful activity, they cannot even chant one round, 2 rounds. Sometimes some of the students, if they come, we ask, "Are you chanting? You were chanting 16 rounds every day." Uh, but then he says, "No, Prabhuji, I am unable to chant. Sometimes I chant 1 round, 2 round. Sometimes I am unable to chant. Why? You don't get time? No, time is there, but mind is not determined. Mind जो है मन नहीं लगता है. Mind is not focused. So what is the reason? Then immediately I understand, because of he is unable to follow the principles. He is breaking the principle. That's why. So if somebody takes shelter of Krishna's holy name very formally, if it's somebody, anyone is irrespective of whatever his condition may be. If somebody chants 16 rounds every day in the morning, then gradually he will get the strength from Krishna's mercy, and he will be able to follow the regulatory principles also very nicely. And then with that, he will get the strength or determination, and he will be able to nicely chant every day 16 rounds, and gradually he progresses also. He increases number of rounds. He becomes enthusiastic or determined for serving Krishna also. So this is what we can learn from this verse, that as soon as one is influenced by material conception of life, immediately he will become impatient, he will lose the determination, and he will get influenced by all kinds of material negative emotions, and so much so that she will decline to execute his duty. Just like Arjuna, his famous bow Gandiva is slipping from his hand because of this material conception of life. He lost his determination to fight, and he is running away from his duty. Okay, so with this, we shall stop here. Thank you very much. If anyone is having any question, you can ask. Hare Krishna. So, question is, whenever we get depressed in our life, so these lessons which we are hearing here from Arjuna's Bhagavad Gita, it doesn't help me. So what should I do? So we should take firm shelter of Krishna's holy name. So these lessons are given to make us understand that if we do not try to situate ourselves properly on the path of Krishna consciousness, following all the regulative principles nicely, chanting our rounds every day, then what will be the result? So these results we are discussing so that we can become conscious and we can learn this lesson that we should not put ourselves in such situations or in such zone, and we should not engage ourselves in such kind of activity which will increase our material conception of life, and then we will become depressed, or we'll become less determined, we'll lose determination for acting properly in path of Krishna consciousness. That's why these lessons are given. Okay, as you said. Okay, so question is, why Krishna gave the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita only to Arjuna? Why not to other Pandavas and his mother Kunti? Kunti was a great devotee. So, of course, Krishna gave this knowledge to Mother Kunti also. When Krishna himself came, he gave, actually, Krishna gave this knowledge to women also, to his own mother. When Krishna came as Kapil Dev, so he gave this knowledge to Mother Devahuti. So there is no, but when Krishna is giving knowledge of Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, so he specifically chose Arjuna because of some reason. Arjuna was his very intimate friend, so Arjuna can understand and can accept. And through Arjuna, Arjuna was a leader, so through Arjuna, Krishna wanted to spread this knowledge. So, but Krishna, this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita is open for everyone. We all are taking advantage of this knowledge. Affected. The question is how to become Godakes. We are affected by too much sleep. So, sleep is a sign of ignorance, tamogun, and Arjuna got victory. He conquered his sleep. That means he conquered his mode of ignorance. He was perfectly situated in mode of goodness. That is because of his constant association with the Supreme Lord Krishna. Because Arjuna was always with Krishna, Krishna was always present with Arjuna. That's why Arjuna could overcome his this sleep problem, mode of ignorance problem. So that's why if we also can keep constant company with the Supreme Lord Krishna, then we can easily overcome mode of ignorance. Huh? So how we can keep constant company of Krishna? The more you chant his holy name. As soon as you chant Hare Krishna mantra, so Krishna is present with you. So the more you chant, that's why we are recommending that at least try to the level of chanting 16 rounds every day. If any devotee, any of you, we can guarantee, because I have personally experienced it, and so many devotees, so many youths and students, they have personally experienced it, that if any student, if he chants every day 16 rounds in the morning hours, then definitely over the period of time, after few months, he will be able to overcome the problem of mode of ignorance. Not just sleeping problem, it will get overcome, but even the mode of ignorance causes us to become demotivated frequently, become depressed, and become less enthusiastic, less determined. All these are because of mode of ignorance. So as we overcome the mode of ignorance, we'll become more enthusiastic, more energetic, and more efficient also in our work, whether material or spiritual also. So try this. This is the best thing we can do, the simplest and best and the most powerful thing, most powerful way to overcome mode of ignorance, because Krishna is supremely powerful. He is always situated in pure goodness. So as soon as you come in contact with Krishna, so immediately all ignorance is vanquished, all ignorance is gone. And Arjuna became Gudakesh because of this reason only, because Arjuna never forgot Krishna even for a single moment. So Arjuna, of course, we cannot reach the platform of Arjuna, but at least by the principle we can apply. So Arjuna, he remembered Krishna every single moment. So if we at least try in our life to remember Krishna, the more and more, at least we can begin with 2 hours every day, at least for 2 hours. You remember Krishna and come for these classes every day, half an hour more. So this will be helpful for you. Okay. Way. If you chant very attentively, especially in the morning hour, in the beginning you will feel sleepy. It will in the beginning it will be very difficult, austere, not very easy to do this. But in the association it is possible, and especially for those who are boys, for Prabhujis, we have multiple centers, and in temple also, those who are living in Mumbai. So Harsh, you can take the advantage, and others also who are Prabhuji's boys. So they can come, you can come and live in the association of devotees. So in the association of devotees, it is very much possible that you can get up early in the morning, because living at home, it's not possible to get up early in the morning. And when we get up early in the morning, we sit together after taking bath, we sit together in a circle and we chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, then it is very much possible. And you can experience that you are progressing in conquering over mode of ignorance and sleep. Okay.